Okay, here we are in Record Collector, here in central London, Gibson Guitar Studios. Gives me great pleasure to be in the company of Ty Taylor, lead singer of the blues souls rockers Vintage Trouble. Hi Ty, how are you?
I'm great, thank you.
And obviously, August the 14th, got a new album out on the legendary Blue Note Records. The album's called One Hopeful Road, sort of written down in address form, so please tell us more. What is One Hopeful Road, and tell us more about
where
it.
It is.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
The first line of the first song on the album, Unlike the River, is one hopeful road that my mama showed to me from the moment I first stepped. And my mother was a very encouraging person from a very early age. She told me that I could do whatever it is I wanted to do, and she encouraged me to break outside of the box and that kind of thing. And so I figured there are a lot of people that maybe were not told this when they were kids. And then some people don't do good with these kind of mythical kind of ideas. So we thought it'd be good to just make it a simple address rather than an odd long phrase. We did One Hopeful Road. And kind of in our minds now has become the place that you can actually go and have your dreams stay alive. It was such a quick decision when we were making the album title. We had something else at first, and that didn't work for us. And in an hour time, I was going through titles of the songs, and none of them were feeling right. And then all of a sudden, One Hopeful Road came up. We were in Don was office at Blue Note Records. I wrote it down on a piece of paper, and I flipped the piece of paper around, and everyone was like,
It's like, it is instant, it does capture the imagination as well, like you say.
yeah, I mean, it's cool. And then we Google mapped it, and there is an actual One Hopeful Road.
Oh, there is.
And so in advance, we should apologize to those people that might get some knocks on their door and a lot of mail coming up.
I suppose it's a bit like Dave Miller. I think he had a phone number for one song, and similar sort of thing happened. He got loads of this poor old couple in America got loads of random phone calls.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think you should pay him a visit one day. And you just mentioned it's produced by Don Ross, legendary producer, has done everybody from the Stones right down to Neil Diamond. So what did he bring out of Vintage Trouble?
Not a goddamn thing. Don't show me. Don Was is the most amazing thing that has ever happened to Vintage Trouble. It takes a lot to take four guys that are alpha males and have someone come in and have us actually listen to them. And that's what he did. He kind of simplified a lot of us. He gave us a lot of clarity. Sometimes when you're four different beings, as much as you try to listen to each other, you need someone on the outside telling you you're not listening to each other. And he just lined us up. At the same time, he got us high, and he also sterilized us and sobered us at the same time. It was the most amazing thing. Like, he would sit in the room with you, and we would be playing, and you could tell when he stopped being the producer and became the regular music listener, and we started grooving, and that's when we knew that we were in the pocket. And he was simple. All of his philosophies about music, they seemed so genuine and unego-based. And I don't know, he was just seemed trustworthy right off the bat, so we were able to give in to him.
Did he have like a strict regime? Because he is such an experienced producer. So it's like, I'm the boss, listen to me?
The regime he has is the kind of gum you have to chew during the sessions and what time you order food. And no, there was no strict regime. One thing he was really strict about was wanting to make sure that what we did live, how we played live, how we positioned ourselves live, that's how we were going to record. And so the strictness really was just in the recording techniques to make that come alive.
Is that important for Vintage Trouble to get that live sound onto vinyl?
Well, yeah, because there's no third degree. There's no third dimension. There's no way to see it. So I think the idea is to push as hard as you can as the performer, like you're on stage, but also listen while you're recording at the same time, like you're someone at home listening to a vinyl record spinning. It's got to be a combination of those two things. And you got to push it You have to, we think, push the boundaries at which most people would want to listen to recorded music. And then just pull it back enough so it doesn't sound too bombastic under the needle.
From what I've heard so far, he's done a fantastic job of capturing that real vintage trouble sound. He's done a fantastic job. And one thing I do want to know is, when did you find the time to record this album, and when did you do it? Because you've been on the road for an eternity supporting everybody, and I'll talk more about it in a minute, but when did you find the time to record this album?
We recorded the record only in about a 2-week period of time when we were home over, no, it was right after the New Year. No, it was supposed to be right after the New Year. It was only like 2 months ago. We just decided to block out some time. We recorded East West Records, and we'd done so much of half of the songs we'd been playing live all the time, so we knew them. And then some of the songs we wrote in the 11th hour, and I think that's a nice balance. But it didn't take that long to record. We know ourselves pretty well, and like I was saying, Don was just stepped in and made the process easier. Sometimes I think if there's not a person that's on the outside to lock things down, you'll go back and forth a lot about things for too long. So it was actually really smooth and quick having someone say, "Have you guys decided what you're going to do yet? All right, we're moving. Let's go." And before you could know it, the record was spinning and we were recording, and it happened really fast.
Great. And one of the songs on the album, you've written about your hometown, Los Angeles in California. You called it Angel City, California, even though you don't get to see much of it these days. But what is it about Angel City, California, LA? What is it about that place you love so much?
Well, my favorite album of all time is Carole King's Tapestry album.
Fantastic album, yeah.
So I love a lot of the old California music, like, you know, Mamas and Papas, James Taylor, all this stuff, the highway music, top down. But there's a certain part of LA that is really kind of urban and grittier, and you don't hear a lot of music about that. And so we wanted to amplify that idea, and we wanted to let people know that a lot of people go to LA to find their souls. And a lot of people think of LA as being a place that is just so above ground and flighty and Hollywood, you know, but there's a lot of rich deepness to it, from the food to the culture to the music. I mean, a lot of people think that our band would be out of Detroit or Memphis and even New York City. But the fact that we are who we are and that we're an LA band lets you know that LA gets down and it's groovy and it's dirty and it's raw and it's primitive. And that's what Angel City is to us. It's a place that we found our souls. I mean, before each of us came to LA, we were actually more other kinds of artists than we are now. Now we are full primitive soul musicians, and we found all of that swagger in LA.
And is there still a big, massive, vibrant music scene? Because like back in the 80s, people always think of like the LA scene as Motley Crue, the Poisons, those kind of bands. Exactly what is the LA music scene today?
Shine. No, the LA scene is really great, and there's all kinds of music, and there's so many venues, and a lot of places that are like regular restaurants have opened up themselves to the idea of having music there, and because of the internet now, there's such a thirst for music, and there's such a want to have it be part of people's everyday lives. So this is a huge scene in LA, and everything from reggae music to rock and roll to soul to blues, just everything we want. Bluegrass. I mean, it's LA. It's a huge city. There's so much to be found, and now there are a lot more pockets of music than there ever were before.
Brilliant.
It used to be one thing, and now it's a big variety, which I like.
Good. And we must talk about this tour you're on at the moment. You know, sort of earlier this year you were supporting Paloma Faith, and obviously now at the moment with the Kings of Rock and Roll, AC/DC. And how's that experience been for you?
You mean going from Paloma Faith to AC/DC?
Yeah.
It's been validating. It makes us feel like our music must be, if nothing else, universal. You know, you perform for Paloma Faith audience, and it's like it's a younger, pop culture, you know, dancier group of people. And then we play the same music. We went from arenas with her to these massive stadiums. It's the craziest thing. And people respond to the same degree.
Yeah.
So it's been validating, and it's made us feel a little bit like, I don't know, it's made us feel a little bit more like, you know, rock stars, I guess.
What's been the most sort of challenging audience? Is it the ACDC audience you have to work harder to win over, or was it the Prime of Faith audience?
The hardest audience to win over is ourselves. Neither.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's been the oddest thing. In my life, I assumed a whole different thing about music, and that was that people liked one thing, and apparently people like a lot more than I had given them credit for, because every place we played, and we've done everything from heavy metal music festivals to nursing homes, and people have received us well. I think people understand that there's an authenticity in what we do, and I think at the core of all kinds of music is soul. And so maybe we just strike what is the center of all these people, and it's been a blessing.
I think one of the great things about you as a frontman, you immediately connect with the audience. Is that very important, that you do go straight for the jugular and talk to the audience?
I think it's important that they connect to me. I'm not a person that does well with not being paid attention to.
But also, you're not just content with being on the stage. You go into the audience, no matter if it's a stadium or like a club last night.
But not only going into the audience, I think what's a game that we all play during our show is, because we started playing in these small juke joint kind of places, it was our mission to make sure we reach every person. So when we've expanded in size of venue, it's still our mission. And so for me, not just the jumping down or the crowd surfing or the walking with people and holding hands, from the stage it is important to make each person feel like they're needed to have the performance happen at the level it's happening right now. And then the closer you get to them in proximity, the more they feel like they're part of the show. But that is really just for me, the icing. It's just the fun part of it. Prior to that is where the work is. It's in us releasing who we are as performers. It's in the audience releasing who they are as audience members, and us just coming together as one kind of entity that's making the space catch on fire. I'm this kind of crazy imagery guy, and for me, I can always sense when the room kind of melts into each other, and not before that will I go out into the audience, because I don't want it to feel cheap. I want that to always feel like it's something that we've all earned together.
Right, and it's like last night I saw you at 229 Club. Must have been a very welcome break for you to get back to playing a hot, sweaty club. And I say you make connect straight away with people at the back. So, like tomorrow when you're at Wembley Stadium, ACDC, massive stadium, you've got somebody who's got a bird's eye view right at the very top at the back.
Yeah.
How will you get that person's attention?
Hopefully, by just, again, it's not really a physical thing, it's just the intention of me to connect to them. Hopefully they'll feel that.
Yeah.
I'm definitely not going to run to the back of Wembley to get to them. But through the way we play, through our abandonment, through them sensing that we need them and that we want them and that we want them included, and we don't want them sipping a drink and getting a hot dog or dialing in on their phones. If they can sense that it is important to us to have them there, and if we do a good job at letting them know that, then hopefully not only their heads will look up, but they'll also feel a vibration that doesn't have to do with sound. Hopefully they'll feel themselves in my dancing and feel themselves in our playing and hear their voices in the songs. Fantastic.
And obviously you are very physical when you're on stage, so do you have some kind of a keep fit regime when you're on tour?
Yeah, shows. That is the regime. Every night we spend a good hour or an hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours on stage, sweating our hearts out, beating our chests, running up and down, playing instruments. I mean, that's a lot of cardio.
Yeah, of course. And let's talk about your musical taste. Away from Fitness Trouble, what sort of music do you listen to when you're relaxing?
Oh, I got into this thing about 5 years ago where you listen to your influences, and you just keep going back. So mainly now I'm listening to a lot of 1940s jazz. You know, I'm listening to a lot of Chet Baker, I'm listening to a lot of Duke Ellington, I'm listening to people like Cole Porter, I'm listening to a lot of early rock and roll guys like Bo Diddley. I'm listening to a lot of singers like Little Willie John, a lot of guitar players like Magic Sam, a lot of gospel singers like Clara Ward and the Ward Singers, a lot of early soul singers like Big Joe, you know, everybody. But mainly all old shit, I hate to say it. The new people I am listening to right now though, I do like, who's really new? Let me think who's the newest person I'm listening to. I do like Leon Bridges.
Yeah.
And I do like, I don't know, basically old stuff.
There's nothing wrong with that. And it's amazing because when you do go back, there is so much to discover. Because it's before our generation.
Right. And even for me, just because I like to promote old music, I won't say the names of a lot of contemporary people, but I listen to top 40 radio, and I dance to it, and I get it, and I love it. I don't look down on it all because it's quantized or overly perfect. There's nothing wrong with perfect music. There are many songs that I can sing every word to that I'd probably be embarrassed to tell you the names of those songs.
No, it's fine about it.
But I do listen to them.
And who did you listen to when you were younger, growing up?
My main influence is Tina Turner, from the Ike and Tina Turner period. I listen to a lot of Carole King, I listen to a lot of James Taylor, I listen to a lot of Mavis Staples, Otis Redding, Sam Cooke, Jackie Wilson, Etta James.
Was there any one special artist that you collected all their records? Did you ever collect anybody when you were younger?
Most of the people I just listed, I have all their records.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I have a huge vinyl collection.
Oh, good.
It's always nice to get original versions of things, but I'm not stuck to that either. I don't mind reproductions of albums. It's more important for me to get to listen to the record than it is that I own the original version of it. Most of my favorite artists, I spend time trying to get every one of their records.
Do you ever buy any vinyl when you're on tour? Obviously, travelling from hotel to hotel, it's not so easy to carry vinyl around.
Yeah. I have one of those little Crosley. I have a Crosley portable 90. Well, let me see. Would it be like a 70-pound portable record player? And it's great because it runs off of only about a Crosley commercial. It runs off of only 8 AA batteries.
Yeah.
And the sound is pretty good actually. You don't need an external speaker.
Yeah.
And it's great because I used to buy these records on the road and then have to wait months to get home, and it kind of takes away some of the fun. It's so funny now that you bring this up. I haven't bought records since I've been on the road, so probably I have the afternoon free. I'm going to go buy a couple records probably.
I was about to say that, when you get the chance, you do check out the shops in the local area, like here in London, we've got a few to choose from.
Are any of them near here?
There is actually, I'll tell you in a minute after the interview. Some not too far from here. And, just before we wrap this interview up, I must talk about the Troublemakers. And obviously the Troublemakers are your affectionate fans. And in what way of Fitness Trouble? Have you heard any good inspiring stories from your fans, how you've inspired them?
Have the fans said that there's something that we do that inspires them? Yeah. The most exciting parts for me have nothing to do with music though. There are a lot of our fans that have said, maybe they were going to do something bad to themselves because they were in a hard time. and randomly through a shuffle of their thing, like a song came on and it saved their life. That's the most inspiring thing I think our music can do, would be to save a life. So, I mean, to me, that's more. I love the idea of our songs making people want to sing or learn how to play instruments, but to actually save someone's life through a song is kind of, I don't know, that goes beyond anything, any other kind of inspiration I could think of.
Fantastic. And on a note, we'll leave it at that. So it's been fantastic talking to you. The album One Hopeful Road. It's out on Blue Note on August the 14th. And good luck with the tour and good luck with life. It's been lovely talking to you. All the best. Thank you.